let me go over to his list of tariffs real quick. His full list. Now, I'm just going to scroll through it. It does not important to go through each country, but the main thing is that when you look at the actual list, these are all the countries and their percentages,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So these are all their countries and their percentages. Let's go over to the main important one because there's higher ones in different places, but some places are not. Cambodia and Madagascar. Some of these places are not places that we really import a lot of stuff to anyway.
So,
Um,
can you scroll down so we can see? I'm sorry, maybe up so I can read the paragraph above to see what this chart is showing.
so these are the reciprocal tariffs paid by American businesses that import goods from these countries. Economists expect those businesses to pass off the new tariffs to American consumers who could face higher costs on everything from iPhones to coffee beans grown in Colombia. Now, we already know that tariffs are going to cost the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
We know this, and it is what it is. But what we're talking about is the why, right? The
Mm-hmm.
why, short term or long term. So the main thing everybody's talking about is China, 34%. Now, from my understanding, there's a 10% baseline tariff that Trump has put on everybody. In addition, the calculations, how they coming up with these tariffs is that, or the percentage, they're doing some type of a calculation where they say there's a baseline percentage plus they're adding on whatever the difference is of what they used to charge versus what we used to charge, and they're adding a portion on depending on the country if they feel like that country has unfair trade balance, unfair currency manipulation. So they're coming up with the calculation. Doesn't matter. They came up with it. China, 34%. So China came back around and said, okay, they came back and did a reciprocal. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, oh, there we go. I lost the window. Uh, at the end of the day, it's like whether you agree with tariffs or don't agree with tariffs, my thing is that Americans have to hopefully, at bare minimum, this time period we have right now will bring Americans to the fruition or the reality
Mm-hmm.
of where America actually is. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because when Richard Wolff said that it's game over, that's the part I think most Americans don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said something to Mark Lamont, which was interesting. He said, "Then why is Trump doing what he's doing?"
Mm-hmm.
He said because Trump does not want to be the politician or the president, or nobody wants to be the one to tell the Americans we're no longer number one.
Oh,
So
wow.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The American psyche, the
Hmm.
American psyche is what we're witnessing. This is what we're really witnessing. The American psyche.
Mm.
this is what this is what's actually not at war, but this is what's actually at stake right now. The American psyche. So when you just said a minute ago how you said
Mm.
you don't feel like it's desperation, and you feel like the tariffs and their things they're trying to do are to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You either believe that or
Mm-hmm.
you don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you believe there's something different. But I'm going to take out the something different because nobody's talking about nothing different. Only
Mm-hmm.
thing people are talking about is I like it, I don't like it. So the people on the street protesting, do you think Americans have accepted the fact we're not number one, or we won't be number one on the world stage in the future?
Nope. I don't even think that's a thought. I don't even think that's a thought, honestly. Yeah, it hit me just when you just
I
said it. I was
told
like,
you. I
oh,
told you that's why I came
that
to that
hits
revelation.
different. That does hit different. Are we now at a point in time in history where we truly aren't number one, but oh god,
Well, let
that
me
that would be heartbreaking. I'm sorry, like I don't care. Well, I care, but like that's real.
that's our psyche. We
That's
don't know
real.
if listen, if you are an American, and I could say it damn near any time period, unless you were around when America was fighting for its independence from England, which I know nobody was. Unless you were around in the 1770s,
200
maybe,
and almost 250
yeah,
years ago.
maybe you have a different purview. But if you're an American of any recent time in the last like 100 and so years, right? America has been number one for so long. We don't know anything else. We don't know anything else so much.
Mm.
And this is why I'm saying about the protesters, people who are protesting. I'm not saying they're wrong, but they think they're arguing about um, women's rights, trans rights, government workers, our rights, oligarchy, tyrants. They think they're arguing about that, and they
Yeah.
really don't. I don't say they don't understand, but they're not talking about what's really going on. America is a number one
Yeah.
now. China, which nobody's been paying attention to, China, they don't have a deficit. They don't have a trade deficit. They have a trade surplus.
Mm.
They have a budget surplus, and they have a trade surplus, and they've had one ever since we've had a lot of these bad decisions that have put them on the world stage, and they've just been stacking their bread while we have
Mm-hmm.
policies that help us not to stack our bread. Now, American businesses have gotten wealthier and done well,
Mm-hmm.
but Americans in general have not gotten better. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's the part that's the conversation I wish we was having. You know,
So let me ask you this. Well, just personal opinion, like, or just from what you gathered out of the interview, like, do you feel like we are on our downfall and this is like the last hurrah to save us all?
that's a great question, love. That's a really, really good question because I just came to the revelation today that I was like, damn, when I heard Richard Wolff say it, or anybody who's an economist say that, you know what, we're it's over for us. You know, before I say what I think, what really hit me is that I realize now that there are other people who think that way, other in depth, on point, in the know people who think that way. So when I hear that, I say to myself, okay, I have heard that point of view before. I've heard people say it. It's not new. But
Mm-hmm.
hearing someone say it in the midst of a president who's trying to do something,
Mm-hmm.
for me was like, damn. Then that means, and what are we doing anyway? What's the
Okay.
point?
So
So
no.
let me
So
ask
let
you.
me hold you. Let me stop you
I
right
want to
there
ask you a
because
question. Go
here's
ahead.
the point.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead. Ask me your
No, I
question.
want to answer your question.
Oh,
You asked
okay.
me personally how
Yeah,
I feel.
please.
How I
Yeah.
feel personally. How I feel personally is that yes, I do think that America in our current condition is on its way down. I'm not saying America is over,
Mm-hmm.
but America is
In its
obviously
current
in its
condition.
current condition.
Yeah, for sure. I
It's
could
not
agree with that.
sustainable for us to be number one
Right.
in the world.
Yeah, we can't.
Now,
Yeah, can't sustain
we
that.
cannot sustain that. And
Mm-hmm.
why it means so much is that we're Americans. We grew up here. We have children here. We have property here. This is our home.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, do I think that we're going there inevitably? I wouldn't say inevitably. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like probably how you feel. Something got to be done. We got to address these things to have a chance. It's almost like, yeah, we losing, but do we just be like, well, we just gonna lose anyway?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's what's going on right now? I'm gonna say this now. I won't cut you off, but what's going on right now to me is we're like a team who's losing, and we're arguing amongst the team.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting here having these side arguments. I don't like your jersey. I don't like your shoes. I don't like the chain you got on. Meanwhile,
I don't like that play you did. I
I don't
don't
like
like
that
that. I
play.
don't like that play.
I don't like that
Yeah.
play. I don't
Right.
like the way you wore your hair to the game. Like we're having all these other arguments that are fair arguments. Don't get me wrong. People can have their gripes, but as far as the country where we see our team going, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we're not even realizing that we getting our asses kicked. And the thing is that our kids have to inherit the team. Our
Mm-hmm.
grandkids have to inherit the team. So in the long run, being so angry about, I'm not saying people have to agree with this president, but I think people have to get out of their Trump derangement, I hate this guy and their evil thing, and start getting into, well, do I realize where the country is and where do I want it to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty much the question right there. Do we realize what where this country is in standing to other countries. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that definitely puts a different type of spin on it. I think um I really don't think it's a downfall. I think there have been too many cards stacked against him. And I'm saying him because this is our president,
Right.
okay? It's not about being republic or identifying as, conservative. But I saw the goal. I saw the goal before he became president. I listened to how all of his speeches, all of his rallies, and I listened to both sides during that time. I was listening to everybody, everything. And it just made sense to me the way that how he wanted to address the issues that were going on in our country. And I think he's overcome so much even prior to becoming president that that makes me feel like it's not the last hurrah. I feel like this is an awakening happening, and it's helping to clear the clutter of our psyche.
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to learn from this. We're never going to want to be in that kind of position again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that this is like a turning point, and it is a revelation um, that everybody gets to see,
Mm-hmm.
and we all come out on top. That's
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 so optimistic.
I know, but that's how I
No, it's good. I'm
that's
saying in a
that's
good
how
way.
I'm seeing it, and that's the energy that I'm going to feed it. That's the energy that I'm going to give it. I would not want to view this as being doom and gloom, like, and this is the end. That doesn't leave much hope for our children or our children's children.
Mm-hmm.